Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's the Mystery Meat Show. Today is episode, I don't even know how many, of Breaking Blue Sky, where we get deep into liberal logic on their liberal platform, which is Blue Sky. This episode is brought to you by Ripsauce. Jim, play the Ripsauce sponsor. There you go. Yep, there you go. Ripsauce. I got a little snippet here. Wait, hold on. Where's my... Jim, is this it right here? Jim? Yep. Here we go. Okay, Ripsauce. This innovative new drink is... Hold on. Yeah. Okay, yeah. This innovative new drink is developed by the Pakistani army to keep their pilots awake. It features some seriously strong chemicals. They mentioned the drink should only be consumed if you need hours and hours of serious energy. The side effects include acne and aroma. Get off the sauce, Ripsauce. Find it at your nearest 7-Eleven. Anyways, okay, that's Ripsauce. I will not be... Jim, remove them from the sponsors list, okay? I don't want any Pakistani sponsors anymore. All the other sponsors left? Fuck. Anyways. Have we got an action-packed show for you today? Psych, we don't, because it's Breaking Blue Sky, the dullest, lamest, most boring. It's just a website for cats and animals and depressed liberals, really. But then I saw this one right here. Pam Keith, God knows what this person's mental illness she's suffering from. 10,000%. This is step one to re-enslavement. SNAP is more critical for school-age children, especially with so many districts not offering free or reduced lunches. Starving children can't learn, but they can drop out and get menial jobs since child labor laws were lifted. What time is it? Back to the 1900s. How big of an asshole do you feel? You're in the emotional handcuffs. Starving children. These children can't feed themselves. Why don't we think about who should be feeding children, parents or the government? All about giving money to people who need it. 100%, especially children. But it makes you wonder how much a SNAP Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program is what the acronym is. Did a little research. In 2019, pre-pandemic, we were looking at around 36 million users of the SNAP program. 2020, post-pandemic, a massive 43 million people. Went up from 36 to 43 million. Unbelievable amount. 7 million people. An additional 7 million people. 2022, 42 million, dropped a little bit. 24, which is at least latest data, it's 41 to 42 million people. Who uses SNAP? Half the users are quote-unquote children. I don't know if they're taking them down to the fucking office of Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. How are the kids getting there? Why have the kids been used as an angle to get food when the parents should be doing this? But to this lady, Miss Pam Keith, this is the step one, how you make slaves again. Goddamn government won't feed my goddamn kids. This mentality, this entitled feeling of obligation only exists on the left. Blue Sky, this is a perfect place for it. So back to the 1900s, of course not. No, lady. Some demographic breakdown. White, non-Hispanic, 36% of SNAP users. 57% of the population is receiving 36% of SNAP. Black, non-Hispanic, just over a quarter at 26%, and blacks are roughly 13% of the population. Hispanic, way down 16% and 19% of the population. Asians, 4%, 6%. Hispanics and the Asians are blowing the whites and blacks out of the water. Does it have to do with cultural values, family arrangement? Who knows? But why are they doing so much better? It's a valid question. 60% of the SNAP users are households with children. Another 35 are single-parent households. And this statistic doesn't make sense, but it says another 25% are elderly or disabled adults. So, is it enslaving people by removing their supplemental nutrition assistance program benefits? And to be clear, the new bill has it just going back down to pre-pandemic levels, which is going to offer around 36 million people benefits. I think the bill is going to cut around 94. Wait, hold on. Well, it's over 10 years, so it's going to cut a couple $100 billion over the next 10 years. So we'll see how that impacts people. Maybe these people can just get jobs. I think if you only reason you should get government assistance is if you've exhausted every single logical and capable reason to get meaningful work, with the last step joining the military. Then, yes, I would feel fine. Okay, this family needs help. No problem. No problem. But what I see, especially on the interweb, is a bunch of people with, I'll leave you to the skin color, flexing how much SNAP and money they get to bring home to their 10, 12 kids. So this lady's completely lost it. It doesn't make sense to me how removing SNAP benefits. We didn't have it before. When did SNAP start? '80s. 1964. Guess so. It gets back to civil rights. Actually started in 1939 to 43, the original food stamp plan. Revived under John Kennedy, 61 to 64. Signed it into law, 1964, by Lyndon Johnson, who, notoriously hated black people. His famous line was, "We're getting the N-words voting for us for the next 50 years if we sign in this bill," or the 1964 Civil Rights Law, among other things that have caused untold damage to our country. And then in 2008, they renamed it to SNAP. 2008 Farm Bill officially changed the name to Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program to reflect broader goals like nutrition, education, healthier eating, and destigmatization. I don't think you should be stigmatized for taking government welfare, but staying on it and exploiting it when you shouldn't be, that should be stigmatized. That should be made a pariah. Okay, moving on. We have a new segment of my show. I'm very excited about it. It's what I'm keeping my kids away from. What I'm keeping my kids away from is LGBTQ plus books, such as these. One second. This woman's name is Leslie Newman. This lovely lady here. She writes books like Heather Has Two Mommies, Sparkle Boy, October Morning, Daddy, Papa, and Me. I was under the impression that the LGBTQ plus community was not targeting children. That's what we were all told, right? Obviously, two lesbians can't have kids, so they're going after ours. Your beautiful sons and daughters. Trying to make them, who knows what they're trying to do to these kids. But a lot of these books are very, very heavily trans and homosexual, some sexual nature in the books as well. sec. Here's some other books that I'm keeping my child away from. I Am Jazz, Jazz Jennings and Jessica Herthel. One of the most banned books in the U.S., thank God. Jazz Jennings, if you don't know, is a boy who had his private parts removed, turned into a girl somehow, and the whole thing was documented on TLC. I do not know how long. I do not know why that show went on for as long as it did without someone ending up in prison. It is so sad and massive. It's like any normal person would look at that and go, what the fuck? Who would want to subject their kids to this kind of torture? It's unbelievably sad. When Aiden Became a Brother by Kyle Lukoff. My child will not be reading that. A trans boy navigates the arrival of a new sibling. How the fuck do these kids know they're trans at this age? The whole point, right, is you have to affirm the child's identity. Their identity is their whole reason for existence. It's what makes these kids who they are, is their quote unquote identity. Their identity is obtained by teachers, school, parents, friends, etc. Right? It's not like kids are opening up books obtained by the television as well, right? It's not like these kids are opening up books and magazines and reading about American history or physics or literature or math. They're getting indoctrinated by these psychos like Leslie Newman and Teresa Thorne, Kyle Lukoff, DeShannon Neal, Kaysen Callender, Meredith Russo, Akwaizi Emizi, Aiden Thomas. These books are meant for 4 to 10-year-olds. So when next time you hear, oh, we're not coming after your kids, fuck that. Yes, they are. This is how their community grows. This is textbook conquering. This is how the Christians, Islam, this is how Native Americans, this is how the Moors, Berbers, the Crusades, this is how every culture colonizes somebody. Ideologically, of course, or you just run over there, behead everybody, and take their fucking land and enslave them. The modern day equivalent is what we're seeing now. These disgusting books for kids, children. These people, if you were to watch this Jazz Jennings show, you immediately understand the mother is in charge and is dictating the whole child's life. She has laid out a path of destruction that is going to make that child, the child already is, a lifelong medical victim, a lifelong medical patient. There's not one reason why any child needs to learn about LGBTQ plus bullshit or trans bullshit. You shouldn't be talking about sex to these kids that are 18 and over. So they glorify it in these books that are cute and friendly and fun. So your kid has exposure at a young age to think, man, mommy, am I a boy? And as I was doing my interview the other day on Saturday, and it was not my best work, I admit, but I spoke with the president of the Board of Education for Los Angeles Unified School District, and he admitted that implementing these programs does damage to the other programs like math, science, reading, literature, to support the LGBTQ plus movement. So it's a full-on takeover. The LGBTQ movement is ingrained into our children's schools. So I will not be teaching or showing my child any LGBTQ plus books. I'm keeping my child away from LA Unified School District, from all these authors and all these books. If she's 18 years old and wants this, and for whatever reason, gender studies is going to enhance her life or make her life better, go ahead, she's an adult. But from the age she is now till 18, that shit's not coming in my house. It's not being circulated. It's not on our TV. It's not on anything. Because let's do some research real quick. What are the depression statistics behind transgender youth? "69% of transgender youth reported experiencing symptoms of major depression." This is by the Trevor Project, 2023 Trevor Project. 70%. Meanwhile, comparatively, 15 to 25% for all U.S. teens. So what's the motivation? Is it a power grab? Do these people feel better when they psychologically abuse these kids and bring them over to their sick side? They expose them to their sick community. Pride parades, walking around nude, performing sex acts. Is that what they think these kids need to be in front of? That's the exposure the kids need? "54% of trans and non-binary youth seriously considered suicide within the past year." Half? Don't you think? Wouldn't you look at these statistics and be like, shit, man, maybe there's something wrong with what we're doing? If 54% of our community is committing suicide, nearly 1 in 5 have attempted suicide. 73% of trans and non-binary youth reported moderate to severe anxiety. Many also experience gender dysphoria, social rejection, bullying, which compound mental health issues. Bullying it drives a very few amount of people to suicide, and it does happen, and it's brutal and should be taken very seriously. Bullying against trans youth and anybody should be taken extremely seriously, and that should be dealt with at the school or by the parents, obviously. But they use that as a cudgel to make people adopt this element of tolerance. So you can't ask these kids questions. It was Josh Hawley was asking that one person during a hearing if men can get pregnant, and she said that line of questioning exposes or brings violence to the trans community. Let me bring it up. There you go.
Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. Mm-hmm. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy.
Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy.
Weird.
Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are
Who is this woman?
also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable
Berkeley
of pregnancy.
Law professor.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue. It's a...
So this woman, she's a Berkeley law professor. One of the most esteemed colleges in our country. And she's supposed to be taken seriously?
We can
it's a what?
recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so
You cannot hate these people enough. How disgusting is this?
your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not.
See? You can't even ask the questions because it's violent. You're doing harm by asking questions and trying to maintain some semblance of logic and reason. This is violent. How dare you ask a question? How dare you say that men can get pregnant? Why would you question that? Don't you know what you're doing? You're bullying. These people can commit suicide because you asked a question.
Not recognizing that.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
Because of
for
my
us-
line of questioning? So
Because-
we can't talk about it?
because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm
is
denying that trans
dangerous.
people exist by asking
Are you?
if you're
Are
talking
you?
about women
Are you?
having pregnancies.
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can
So
get
you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
See, how the hell did this become a thing? Our fucking country has so much to fix. But we're worried about other bullshit in Iran and fucking Israel when we have people thinking men can get pregnant. We have some serious fucking work to do at home. So retards like this get laughed at and kicked out and fired. That these people need to go away. This whole trans ideology needs to get burned into the ground. There should be no talk of this any longer, except when you're condemning it.
And that leads to violence. Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you, or are they
Absolutely.
also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to
Oh,
violence?
we have a good
by
time in my
questioning?
class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know.
exchange.
Student debt's like over $1.4 trillion. And you can imagine why, right? This is what's going on in college. These kids are learning fuck all. They don't learn shit. It's much more important, like the gentleman I interviewed, to get the LGBTQ line of curriculum. It has to be implemented at the expense of math, science, and everything else. For what? I don't know. I do not know.
Absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Yep.
So it begs belief how this shit became mainstream. Men can get pregnant? What the? It's unbelievable, and it's sad, and it's disgusting. But that's the world we live in. All right, guys, that's it for the show. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'll stay on stream. Hey, homie, no thanks, bums. You done, funds, moms, mom, man.